permutation across the cell membrane. So that has to be maintained very perfectly. So how, if I'm new to this, how do we sort this? I will tell you the clue that any drugs that falls into this particular mid area or an this is we call this an optimum prediction space or OPS. Those drugs alone will obey the ADMAT properties. And what this circles are means, we have a 98% confidence level and then 95% confidence level. So absorption 95% and then absorption 99%, blood-brain barrier 95%, and the blood-brain barrier 99%. So how they predict it? They predict aqueous solubility at 25 degrees Celsius. Similarly, a blood-brain barrier, it predicts the brain-blood concentration ratio after your oral administration, and it also calculates the fast polar surface area, atom-based log P. So it counts an unknown A log P values found in the molecule. Say for instance, if it is a high penetration, it is 0. So I'll be taking only the levels 0 and 1. 0 for a high penetration and 1 for a low penetration. Say this blood-brain barrier screening will be varying for a drugs to drugs. So it depends on your perspective. You have to check it out. What should be your blood-brain barrier levels? 2 for medium and 4 for undefined. So we have to decide. Depends on the person perspectives. This screening will be varied. And this is falls into the category called categorical levels. Next, now as of now, you can see that very well there are lots of first screening, second screening, third screening. There will be a reducing number of these molecules. Now it comes to CP2560, and what is the CPY is in a cytochrome P450 families. In that, we are getting into the studying for family 2 and D subdomain and the 6 membrane. That's why it's called the 2D6 family we are predicting. So A log P value, you should check it for an enzyme inhibition is happening or not. It should not inhibit this enzyme because it's very required for metabolism. So how do you classify this? We have a predicted class, false for non-inhibitor and true for the inhibitor. And now getting into the hepatotoxicity screening. In the hepatotoxicity screening, it predicts the potential for a liver toxicity. And similarly, as like an CP2, CPY2D6, here also hepatotoxic levels are calculated in terms of an average class. Say for instance, false. False means it is non-toxic. True means it is toxic to the cells. So we should select only the false. And then we have another screening method called interstitial human absorption. So it predicts the absorbed after oral administration, also calculates the fast polar surface area, atom-based log P, and it is a categorical levels. So if you have you have to pick for only the levels 0 for good and 1 for a moderate. And finally, the plasma protein binding. You could see that there is a molecules number with the green, blue color crowded in this particular area. We will keep on reducing as we screen the molecules. So this is a last screening. It's a plasma protein binding screening. So it predicts a binding to the blood plasma proteins, and it is compared based on the markers as been represented in this particular paper, and this also falls under the categorical level. So if you have a false, that means it is not binding. If it is a true, it is binding the plasma protein binding. So as of now, I started with an approximately 25,000 molecules. Now I end up only with 47 molecules. So only if you have a very large number of debris, then the screening processes also can be done by efficiently. That's why always you prefer to select more than lakhs of molecules when you go for a screening process. So this is how the results will look like. So first, initially, before and after ADMAT screening, so when I started, it's approximately 25,000 molecules. After giving a screening, I have only 46 molecules for my study. Only with this 46 molecules, I have been going for a TopCat analysis, that is testing a mutagenicity or carcinogenicity. If the molecules fail in that level, again you have to start the library process. So that's why if you have a good number of compounds at the beginning, then finally we end up with 1 or 2 lead molecules. Then comes the toxicity prediction. Now I have 47 molecules in my hand. I would like to do toxicity prediction. So what we are going to do in this toxicity prediction? So far it is used as a QSAR method. So toxicity using in a classification model and the regression models. And it is a robust method. So you don't need to wait for toxicity. Just give a molecule, it predict and gives why it is toxic, why it is not toxic, contributing for toxicity. If it is non-toxic, what are the fragments of fingerprints are contributing for non-toxicity. All these results will be getting in a detailed report in the Discovery Studio. So what it will do, it uses a robust method and a cross-validator and using a various measures of toxicity. And TopCat models can be retrained to update the training set as per the toxicity prediction computer-assisted technology. So we have, when I say something called QSAR, there comes in various algorithms. It uses the classification models, utilize the Bayesian models, and the regression uses a PLS method, partial least square method technique. So all the models, Bayesian models used for creating a good fingerprint and the bad fingerprints. So good fingerprint for which one? It is making a toxicity, non-toxicity. Bad fingerprint, make the molecules to get toxicity. So all this information, just by giving a clicks, you can able to get all these results. So now I'm going to show you the classification models. So there are some models with a categorical endpoints such as a carcinogenic or non-carcinogenic, mutagen or non-mutagen. These are built by means of a Bayesian analysis technique. And what about the regression methods? So regression methods is automatically uses a partial least square methods, and if you have a set of molecules that will be treated with a new training data to increase the coverage of the molecule. And what are the advantages in what area I can utilize it? So this regression model will help us to optimize the therapeutic ratio of your lead molecules. If you have more number of molecules, it will help us to reduce the ratio of your lead compounds and help us to prioritize your compounds for a further development. So if it is a non-toxic, I can very well go ahead for a further drug discovery process. If it is a toxic, there also solution is there because of which molecule or a fingerprint or a chemical compound or which functional group is causing this particular toxicity. That the program itself will says you because of this the problem is occurs. You can change that functional group and you can again test the toxicity model and you can further go for a development process. And it is also one of the technique for a high throughput screening systems. And it is very accessible for a commercial, pharmaceutical, industrial, agriculture chemical product, especially in insecticides and pesticides, and also for potential safety concerns. And we also have a set dosage range for animal assays. If I want to test before going for testing in animal models like Daphnia, rat, or a mouse, or any fat rat, small fishes like that. If I know that what is the dosage level, it will be very easy for me to go for an experimental setup. So that's what we'll be going to do. See now, using a set dosage for an animal assays. What are the models are available in the Discovery Studio? And how to run this process? Same process. After your ADME is screening, load your molecules, and then you can choose a TopCat extensible. There are two algorithms are there. One is extensible, one is a TopCat. In the TopCat, we have multiple models like a male rat with a female rat, male with a female, male-female combination. Like that, we have 20 to 25 different multiple models. Here, I am showing only for single models. So, AIMS mutagenicity, rat oral LD50 valid lethal dosage, and then NTP, National Toxicity Program Prescribed Based Rodent Carcinogenicity, FDA, Food Drug Approval Based Rodent Carcinogenicity. That means the data are all obtained from these two external sources and then built in the Discovery Studio using QSTR that has been given as an input for our users. So we have an input compounds and select the model. It is not restricted. You have to select these models. Even you can select all the models and you can give for a search similarity. Only the search similarity, the fingerprints are matched with your molecule, and then the retains will be based on either toxic or not toxic. And finally, if you give a detailed report, it gives a detailed report about all the fingerprints in a PDF format. That will be very helpful for a user to save it in a PDF format. That's why we'll be giving a detailed report too. and your results looks like this. This is a detailed report result. Say for instance, this is a molecule I have given 6874, and what is a molecular weight, and then a prediction. What prediction has been taken place? What is the distance-based prediction, and what are the structures contributions? So same structure has been contributed like this. Similar structure is fine. The name of the compound also will be displayed, and then the actual endpoint. Since these molecules are non-mutagen, because there is a sharing of this particular fingerprints. And what is a positive correlation? The positive correlation also will be given in terms, these are the fingerprints, and in how many molecules it is trained, those informations also will be getting over here. Similarly, for a mouse female national toxicity program based screening, you have a model prediction is non-carcinogen. Why it is a non-carcinogen? The fingerprints contributions will be help us to use the knowledge about how the molecules are become non-carcinogen. So like this, if you paid for an 10 to 15 molecules, almost you will be end up with 500 to 550 pages of the results, which will help us to identify or to write the report based on these molecules. And then once you're done with that, if you want to set dosage for animal ranges, we have all these models in Discovery Studio. You have a rat TD50 value, LD50 value, and then rat inhalation LC50 values, and then fat cat minnow LC50 values, and Daphnia EC50 values, and then mouse TD50 values. What is the turmeric dosage rate in a chemical rodent exposure test, rat oral acute median lethal dosage rate, and then rat inhalation lethal concentration per hour, and then the median of lethal concentrations to the fat cat minnow in an acute aqueous toxic test, and a model prediction for a Daphnia magna EC50 in a chemical in an aquatic toxicity test. So these models are available at Discovery Studio. You can test it and you can come out with a set dosage pages for before going into the experimental assays. And finally, now my molecules are being screened in the ADMET, TopCat, and then comes a rules called drug likeness. It's very, very important rule. Only if this rule has been satisfied, then only your hit will be transformed, or your molecules can be called as lead molecules. So what are the two famous drug likeness properties are there? So very famous is auto violation. If you require, you can introduce a Weber's rules also. So these rules are good principles for screening your compounds, but it requires a large samples. So that's why when you begin your process, your samples that should be very big, then only the screening process will be very efficient. So selection of compounds according to the formulated Lipinski's rule of 5. What the Lipinski states, or Lipinski's rules can be also called as an R05 violation or a Pfizer's rule of 5. It says about A log P value, octanol coefficient, a partition coefficient of A log P, molecular weight should be less than 500, and the ON molecule or hydrogen bond acceptor should not be more than 10, or hydrogen bond donor should not be more than 5. And apart from that, you can also include a Weber's. He says about the rotatable area and polar surface area. Your drug should be less than 140 angstrom square. Only then it will be get into the permeable. It will be cell permeable. And then the number of rotative bonds. If your rotative bonds is more, then there will be a problem with your steric interactions and all. That's why the rotative bond should be less as possible. And if a ligand passes this filters, have a higher probability of a good oral bioactivity. So it's very important to follow strict rules in the drug discovery process. So preparation of ligands. Once you're done with all this process, you have been sorted my ligands, you have final compounds in your hand, you have to prepare your ligands. Why you need to have to prepare your ligands? That means you are adding a hydrogens, calculating the 3D coordinates, enumeration, removing the duplicates, fixing the bad valencies, and then creating the largest fragment for your docking process. This is a mandatory step for doing any kind of docking process. So once you're done with the prepared ligands, now your ligand part is ready for docking. So prepare ligands, input your compounds. You can go to small molecules, tools, prepare or filter ligands, prepare ligands, input your molecules, set all these parameters as by default, then run the process. So this is how I end up with from 47 to almost 9 to 8 types of molecules. So only if I have 25,000 approximate molecules, I have few molecules. If I take only the 100 molecules, then if I come to this step, I have only 0 molecules in my hand. That's why we have to choose a large library of compounds. Let's have a demonstration. Whatever I told, I'm going to show you the demonstration, how to create library, ADMET screening, TopCat screening, RO5 violation, and prepare the ligands. So this is a Discovery Studio homepage, and we have a lot of tools for the macromolecules. And if you want to open, and you have a new molecule window, protein window, nucleus window, script window. If you want to open URL to download the protein also, you can download. So we have edit options for your copying and paste, display styles, hierarchical view, chemistry, structures, and then sequence views. And we have a very good interaction for a chart, scripts windows, tools windows, and even we have for an what are the tools are respected to under the particular category, and then help topics. And if you click into macromolecules, all the tools which is required for macromolecules are all will be displayed over there. And simulation for dynamics and to calculate the free energy bindings, all the tools will be simulation. Similarly for receptor ligand interactions, pharmacophores, small molecules, X-ray crystallography. And even if you want to add your own tools, you can add, go to view, tool panels. Under tool panels, you can add your few more tools required for your process. This is how you have to add your own tool for your process. Now we even have an access to protocols. Under the protocols, we have for macromolecules, aligned structures, docking of proteins, of DNA protein docking, or RNA protein docking, or protein docking, or protein peptide docking also can be carried out. And homology modeling of proteins, antibody modeling, and pharmacophores, receptor ligand interaction docking, simulation analysis, and small molecules. And also we have for X-ray crystallography. These are the overview about Discovery Studio. Now if you want to create a library, first you have to create a folder, and then you have to set as default. I have created a folder and set as default. You can see here this is a job window where the job has been done, and the location and when the time, all the things will be displayed over here. So now I'm going to create a library. Go to File, New, Molecule window. And then, so what are the formats will be supported? It supports all the wide heterogeneous format, SD, SDF, MOL, MOL2, and then CDX also will be supported. So we have some compounds. I can drag like this. Download the compounds and then drag. You can drag more than one also. You can select Shift and you can drag it. And even if you have a library of compounds, you can directly open the library of compounds. Now if you want to save these molecules, so you can see here where the sources obtained from a database. If you want to remove these attributes, why I'm removing this sense? Because after doing docking, there will be a lot of tabs will be created that will create us and make things complex. That's why I'm removing it. So now go to File, Save As, Mol file, or you can name it as such. Samples component, sample library. And you can save to this format. This library of molecules, you can use it for a further process. Now I have approximately 25,000 of molecules in my hand, for which I am going to show you the ADMET, TopCat, and preparation screenings. I loaded the molecules like this, which is saved in .sd format. So it is now loading it, because there are 25,000 molecules are there. If you have good RAM capacity, it is not a problem at all. So if you want to see, you have to click here and you have to see your molecules. So now go to the protocol, ADMET descriptors. Input all molecules and select the ADMET profiling things. Aqueous soluble, blood barrier, CP126, hepatoxicity, all the properties are clicking and click run. That's it. Or F5. Either way you can run the process. You can see the copying and saving files. Every time the Discovery Studio will save your inputs along with the protocol, and then and then it will be calculating the descriptors now. It is calculating descriptors. So it will take almost 58 seconds to finish the process and closing the input and opening the output. So this is how the results looks like this. Click view results. It's opening now. Once you click results, it will open the tablet column along with the ADMET plot. Let's see that it will ask you for plot. Click yes, and you can see that ADMET is soluble is there, levels are there, and then the PBV levels are there. This is a graph. And then opening. So now you can see here the component library is given in graphical view as is in the tablet view. So whatever changes are happening in the table and tablet view, it will be affects those. So I'm putting in a closing input, opening a while. So I'm going to sort the molecules. So you can see of viscosity versus a polar surface area. Now I'm going to sort the molecules. Let's see. Opening it. Having library A log P value on this side and then the ADMET. So you can see the solubility levels, and then you can see the A log P value, for each levels of solubility, blood-brain barrier levels, and then CP by 2d6, and then you see the AP, OPS properties. All the compounds which is OPS properties, optimal prediction space, will be always in this. Let's see, include this legend also using display style. So that will be very easy for me to interpret. It says about what is ellipsis mean for. And the compound which is present inside always obeys the ADMET properties profiling. And the compounds outside the ellipse will be out of range. So hepatotoxicity, all the properties, you can able to view it in your tablet view. I'm going to sort this filtering the molecules one by one. So smart way of filtering is molecule, filter, select this molecule. I mean, first you start with the certain solubility level. So less than or greater than or equal to 3. That will sort out the molecules out of the range. So that only 3 and 4 will be retained. Name, apply. Okay. You can see that some molecules are sorted out in the graphical view. Groups will be based on the molecule. Now the second filter. Trying to know this. Slide, yes. So second level is the blood-brain barrier level. I told the blood-brain barrier level 0 and 1 should be there. So I'm again filtering. You can apply the filter at the once also. Since for demonstration purpose, I'm showing one by one. So less than or equal to 1. So that 0 and 1 will be retained. Okay. You can see half of the molecules are ruled out in a blood-brain barrier level. More than off. So 0 and 1 only around will be retained now. Now sorting out for other levels. CPY, it should be a false, non-inhibitor, filter. Prediction equals to false. Apply, okay. So it is not necessary, that's what I'm telling you. You can apply all the things that to put together, and you can do this sorting out. But I'm going for a one by one to gain the how the sorting is running. So again, hepatosity prediction equals false. Apply. And I'm sorry for a blood-brain barrier in binding domain. Okay, so once you started the graph, it is so popular across over the lips also. But after doing this filtration, so I get only few molecules in has obeys all this alien profiling properties. So that should see automatically I didn't do any absorption. Indirectly it was satisfied. So if you started to satisfy one particular things, other things will automatically satisfied. We have lakhs of molecules. You can say this. So we say that I'm going to take this molecules for a top cat analysis. Top cat analysis prediction. Take view results, and you can sort it in a smarter way. That means by giving the filters, you can sort your results. Filter it. Predictions equals non-Postmergent. Similarly, for the other models, prediction equals non-Postmergent. Even for mutagenicity also, we can apply the same. So all the predictions you have to keep as a non-Postmergent or a non-mutagen like that. Equals non-Postmergent. NTP prediction, male rat is not Postmergent. So it is not applicable. See, if you select and do one by one, it is time consuming. Sometimes we miss it also. So that's why we'll be applying the smart filter techniques. Apply name A. So 47 molecules end up with only the 14 molecules as of now. So we are naming once again hormone library after top cat screening in SD format, save it. Now we are going to use these molecules for screening the drug likeness properties, all the Buzz and the Lipinski's. Now I'm sticking only for Lipinski's, it's very important, and then you run. It's a filtering of molecules and you will get the results. Double click and open the results. Filtered molecules, and what are the filtered molecules and its properties for your drug likeness will be listed over here. And finally, after doing this process, the output this filtered ligands has to be used for preparing your ligand molecules. What's this one? Has some compounds. Just after sorting out. These are the final compounds for docking and preparing the ligands for that. The 14 molecules. Ligand preparation is done in the small molecule, general purpose, prepare ligands, input molecules, and you get this. Input and then open the output. You get the list of molecules, prepare ligands rejected. Why it is rejected? Because of duplicates. And we get the components. We have the molecules. So for that, I am going to run the docking. So now, as of now, protein ligand part was finished. I am selecting the molecule and I am going to show you docking. See how this records happening in the systems.